There's nothing better than the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, no matter what the category. Welcome to FIA Formula 2, and it's round 8 of the campaign here at Silverstone. We've got rainy conditions ahead of us at a former RAF base here for Formula 2 and their 45-minute practice session, round 8 of the 2024 season here at Silverstone. And now we've got an interesting situation with a virtual safety car already deployed out there on the circuit as well. You don't need any turn names here, you know them by heart. It's going to be into Abbey, then through Farmkern, Village, The Loop, Aintree, the Wellington Straight, Brooklands, Lovefields, Woodcote, Copse, Maggots, Beckett, Chapel, Hanger Straight, down towards Stowe, Vale and Club. And 18 turns around this circuit as well. The Silverstone main stage on the former part of the circuit, which comes through Bridge into Priory. And now we're underway, but the virtual safety car, Omi and Jack alongside me in the commentary box, and I think Omi as well. A wise decision just to let everyone get used to the track conditions out there and deploy the VSC.
Yes, absolutely wise decision indeed. Just deploy it as we do get going here at Silverstone. So the cars out there on the circuit on the full be exciting weekend of Formula 2 with a lot of rain.
A lot of rain in the air as well. Evening, Jack, for you, because you've been up all night watching the election coverage. How are you doing? You doing well?
Bit tired, but, you know, doing well. Ready for some racing. I mean, I'm going to have a nice lie-in after this. It's also good to see the stewards being a bit smart here, get the virtual safety car, get everyone used to the wet conditions. Some of these guys probably haven't raced in too much wet conditions in the past, so I think it's best just to get these guys used to the conditions here, and it is ending.
Yeah, nicely done to get it all sorted and get everyone okay out there. We're back to green flag running out. They're all out there on the wet tyres. Right, let's get in our questions as well in the YouTube chat. By the way, just to let everybody know, because we've got to, we are live this weekend for all of the British Grand Prix action for the support series and everything on JB Motorsports 2 and on JB Motorsports Twitch. Sunday we'll have the Formula 1 British Grand Prix as well as IndyCar from Mid-Ohio and NASCAR from Chicago. That's all going to be on JB Motorsports. We lost our live streams due to Dorna. If you're looking for MotoGP, live coverage will only be on Twitch of the sprint race and the Grand Prix. Everything else will be not live. Let's have a look with Clive Holton, the team manager at High Tech.
Kind of planning ahead, there's not much we can do for the wet. I think we've had 2 wet-free practices. We haven't had a wet quali yet, and it's possibly looking that way. So we'll just have to see how the drivers cope here. Saturday's looking to be quite windy, so that could change conditions as well from free practice. And then Sunday at the moment maybe could be wet again or drizzly or drying. So, well, it's changing every minute really, the weather. We'll just have to kind of put the car down and the drivers and see where we're at.
Yeah, so just a quick follow-up there on MotoGP. Live coverage of the sprint and the Grand Prix will be on JB Motorsports Twitch only. Delayed coverage of practice, qualifying and the races will be on JB Motorsports as well. So that is how it's going to work this weekend. There is a possibility that Sunday's main Grand Prix could be live on JB Motorsports 2 as well, but that all depends about the timings we get our main channel back. So stay tuned for all of that as well throughout the weekend. So there you go for where we're going with MotoGP. To come into as well. The rookie is spamming MotoGP's name in there. I've just explained as well. We're not covering MotoGP this weekend. It might be on Sunday, but not right now. JB Motorsports Twitch for the sprint race and the Grand Prix. We're having too many issues with Dorna to go into it as well. So then, Omi, what do you think ahead of this weekend?
It should be a very tasty weekend. We come into this weekend with every team winning a race bar High Tech. And in that high-tech team, we of course have Cordial, who has turned up a few times but can't really do much. But we also have championship leader Paul Aaron. And Paul Aaron hasn't won a race this season, has been on the podium in every single round this season. That'll definitely be his goal to try to take a victory. But yes, your drivers' championship leader right now, his team is not right now. It hasn't won a race at all this season. That's how competitive Formula 2 is this season, so it's completely wide open. Colapinto's been performing very well lately. Maloney's season hasn't been as good as it was at the start, so he's going to try and turn it around. But should be an exciting round of Formula 2 as we continue to see this championship battle take twists and turns.
And Jack, as I just type out the explanation guide for MotoGP, we are getting a little bit more running. The rain's eased off a little bit, but it's mainly the spray in the third sector that's kind of the problem.
Yeah, exactly, but I think it's good to see that we're actually getting some running. I was worried after the rain picked up that we weren't actually going to see these cars out on track, and as Yifeng Shortan, I probably butchered your name, I'm sorry, says in the chat, one of the drivers out on track who's currently top of the timing sheets, Franco Colapinto, we will be seeing him in F1 later in the first practice session for Williams. Good to see him out on track. And yeah, it should be an exciting session. I'm pretty certain we'll get quite an exciting qualifying. And maybe we'll see some guys out on dry tyres if a dry line emerges when the rain stops.
There'll be a video going up later on tonight as to where you can watch the sprint race and the feature as well, as well as our coverage details for the rest of the weekend. We're having to play it by ear because Dorna blocked. They've got an automated bot, and I have been having trouble with it. I've done some research into it as well. It's the same bot that blocked their own live stream of the World WCR Championship, the Women's Championship from Misano in their practice session. Their same copyright bot got that got me. So which is why I got a different message, which is why I was confused, because it said, make sure that this channel has added you to their content ID claim. And they had added me last time, so I don't know what's happened there. So it's a rogue bot that is tripping the systems because they can't control it. Because you can't get once you put bots out there, you can't get them all back. And this one's causing havoc. So I don't know what Dawn are up to with it. They might just try and, change the content systems. But it just keeps flagging it no matter what. So that's the problem at the moment, which is what's happening right now. So that's why only the sprint and the Grand Prix are live on Twitch this weekend. Everything else is delayed coverage, and hopefully by the time we get to Silverstone for MotoGP in August, everything will be set up because there are different plans for JB Motorsports going forward. So that is the plan at the moment for MotoGP. Basically this weekend, do the races. Megan's covering everything else. Like Megan's right now in another commentary box covering the first practice session with all and it'll be uploaded with all the timing screens. So because it's not live, we can use TNT commentary and all the timing screens. So as soon as that's done, it'll be uploaded and premiered on JB Motorsports as well. Back to this action, left 2 on board with Taylor Barnard, and now we cut to the back of Rio Mayato as well, coming through Copse Corner as well. Paul Aron is fastest, 1:59.526, and I don't like that, Omi, because in Formula 3 we're seeing 2 minutes, and in F2 we're only seeing 1:59, so it's not that big of a difference. So has the track got worse, or is not everyone pushing yet?
Everyone, I think, is just finding themselves, just learning the circuit and running around it a little bit, trying to get to grips with this, with these cars and these conditions. So they'll hopefully be getting better and better. But yeah, great question earlier coming in from George as well on who would you say is the best upcoming talent making their way through the ranks. So of course the little owl in the chat said Zach O'Sullivan, Martin, Stenstrom, Behrman, Bortoletta, Mini and Browning. So those are some good picks as well. But I'm going to go a little bit even further to some of the drivers in Freca and the lower feeder series as well. I'd say Freddie Slater seems like one that could be coming our way in Formula 3 soon. We also have Ugo Chukwu, Rafa Kamara. Those 3 drivers are looking good as well. And of course, all of the drivers that the little owl said that are currently participating in Formula 2 and Formula 3.
Want to throw in also from SHT about MotoGP. Welcome back, Remy Garner, for MotoGP Racing. Wish I could speedy recovery. I say the same. Welcome back, Remy Garner. Always going to be fun to see him and what he can do. I look forward to commentating on the races. I'm only doing 2 MotoGP sessions this weekend, which is the Sprint and the Grand Prix. Megan is lead commentator on the rest of them. Basically, last weekend, when you'll see the German Grand Prix coverage, which is coming up later on today, I said, that's it, I'm done. Someone else can take do this. So that's what's happening. And me and Megan are back together for the Grand Prix on Sunday as well. So it's just sort of working our way through it. We're sort of just having a break. Then I get 2 weeks holiday, which is great. So I'm not here next weekend. I think race 1 is Josh T. Jackson. And then race 2, it's yourself only with Jackson and Jess, I think, coming around. So that's going to be great. I hope you haven't forgotten, Omi, that you're streaming next week on Sunday.
Oh.
The IndyCar.
Might have slightly, but that's fine.
Good,
as well.
good. Because that's because JT's at Donington with me for the whatchamacallit coverage.
Yeah.
Touring cars. No, Superbikes. That's it. World Superbikes.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Oh, there we go.
That one that everybody goes, oh, right about. I can't wait. 3 days. Honestly, I am more buzzing about the World Superbikes than I have been for any other, because it's 3 days at a racetrack where I don't have to do a thing. I can sit down and I can enjoy some racing action as a fan. I've not done that in 7 years. And I'm so looking forward to it. And I get to finally meet Maddie in person, and Simon, and all the riders in the WCR as well. Get some content as Marty's running slow out there on the circuit and has resumed. So he was stopped for 10 seconds out the track, but has got going now. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to next weekend. Really am. And I will be watching the IndyCar coverage, so don't worry, I'll be watching that. Probably screaming. I am taking a headset with me, though. I'm taking a USB headset with me, so if I am needed, I can step in for emergency commentary in some regards if Zara's not fast asleep, which is my little niece who's 8 months old. But yeah, so I will have access. You will be able to hear me. Just a shame that there's nothing happening on Thursday.
Oh my word!
Oh, Stanek.
Just realised we got DRS.
Yeah, I've just noticed that as well. In these conditions, I've never seen that before.
Oh my god. That definitely catched me out. DRS open. What?
I'm
in these
alarmed.
conditions.
Well, is that deliberate or is that accidental, do you reckon?
Could be either, really. I wouldn't open them in these conditions, especially when it's just practice as well.
The Formula 3 coverage, by the way, is now online on JBMotorsports and premiering. So there you are.
Lovely stuff.
That's how it's going to go this weekend. MotoGP is going to be uploaded next as well and premiered. I'll deal with all that later on today in terms of the thumbnails and everything. There's Ollie Behrman, recently promoted to Haas for 2025. We're going to be talking about it in both sessions as well. It's going to be quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think about Behrman?
Yeah, great to see Oliver Behrman getting his chance as well, coming in there. Very talented driver all the way through his career, and finally it's great to see him getting his chance in Formula 1 and seeing a driver getting promoted after seeing no one this year. So we of course got to see Behrman in Saudi. He really performed well there, but thank God he got this Saudi opportunity, or this Formula 2 season may have not looked the best overall for him. As we take a look at one of our former Formula 3 champions, Dennis Hauger. Now we've had 17 races around the circuit for Formula 2, and never have we ever had a repeat winner. So it's over to Victor Martins or Richard Rashaw, who are the two drivers that have won around the circuit in the past, to try and change that. And it could also mean that they're heavily cursed maybe this weekend as well.
Well, you'll get your chance to call that tomorrow as well in the sprint race. I think I disappear after about 10, 20 minutes or so, so I might hand it over completely to you, so I can save my voice because I'll be doing the sprint race. So actually that might be more of a possibility because I don't know how much time I've got to set things up, so I might just hand the sprint race completely over to you for Formula 2. I think that's the only one that affects me actually, because Megan's covering the rest, including the MotoGP quality, so I think that's okay. Megan seems to be okay, but I know she doesn't like me that much. The fact that I've just gone, you MotoGP go. So
take it all.
Yeah, she's not in anything else today. So she's not in any of the Formula 1 practice sessions or anything today. She'll be back with us for practice 3 tomorrow, which is straight after the MotoGP qualifying session as well. And then she misses the she misses the MotoGP sprint race, and then she comes back to us for the Grand Prix on Sunday, which is on just before our coverage for Formula 1 begins at 2 o'clock. So it all works out. And I'm really, really hopeful that we get our live streams back early Sunday. Otherwise, I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
It should
I
do.
hope we do.
That's why
Hopefully.
yes.
All
But
we can do is hope.
thing is, though, if we do get our coverage back incredibly early on Sunday morning, of course we'll cover F3, F2, and F1 all on the main channel. But also, everything this weekend is going to be simulcast on JBMotorsports too, including the F1 Grand Prix. So we are across many different multitudes of platforms this weekend as well. And going forward, things will change as well in terms of the running order of how JBMotorsports working. We're sort of going to be expanding to 3 channels on YouTube, 1 on Twitch, and you'll see exactly how it's all going to work out. It's going to be quite entertaining. Twitch will become like our best content platform, and JB Motorsports 1 and 2 are going to be changing, and then there's going to be a third JB channel, not motorsport related, other sport related, I can say, but we're figuring out the details right now as to what we're going to be doing, and that's what I'm going to spend my 2 weeks off doing.
All in the works right now.
It's so fun. You guys know the new name anyway of the third channel because I put the vote in, and it looks like it's overwhelmingly been chosen by 1. I wanted JB.
Absolutely.
I know, but I was quite going for JB Grandstand, but it's like, all right, but it is. You're too young to remember Grandstand, so that's the problem.
Goodness me. Right.
Brad, why aren't you on ground at Silverstone? Brad, if you can spare me about $5,000, I would go to Silverstone and cover on site. But right now, looking at the rain, it's like a 25-minute drive. It's about. Do you know where I am in Silverstone? To get from where I am in the UK to Silverstone, it takes about 2.5 hours to get to via driving. Definitely not a 25-minute drive for me. Let's hear from some of the drivers, though, on this circuit and what they are experiencing, starting, I think, with Enzo Fittipaldi. Because they've taken the timings off, so I presume they're going to do a side-by-side. They are indeed.
It's a big privilege to be able to drive here, and, there's obviously a lot of fans that come in the race weekend, which also makes it very fun. And yeah, I think just the track itself is very nice to drive. I think one of the best tracks we have in the calendar. Cops, Maggots, Beckett, Stowe, these types of corners in a qualifying lap is amazing. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
There's Enzo Fittipaldi coming into it as well, so always nice to see. Then Jack, it's only half an hour for you as well, Silverstone. Where are you all living?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half for me. I live just outside London, so.
Brad says, I was in Austria last week. How was it? What a race to be at for that one. And,
For real, man.
Well, I can say I am actually going to be at the British Grand Prix. Just not for Formula 1 and not for MotoGP. I'll be at the British Grand Prix for Superbikes. So, yeah. I'm changing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the Donington round for Superbikes next week. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So it is the British... I will be at a British Grand Prix. So, yeah. Can't wait. Also, I'm so...
Does it count as a Grand Prix?
It does, yeah. It's the British Grand Prix for Superbikes. It's the British... So it's the British
fair
race.
enough.
Yeah. It's the British race, so, yeah. So, yeah, at Donington. I'll be over there for the British Grand Prix. I'll be looking forward to that. World Superbikes.
Fun, of course.
Oh, do you know, I can't wait until Sunday as well when JT turns up. I would have been there for 2 days before, and I'll be going like, this is that. And JT's the superbike expert, but I'll be going like here. Here's Maddie. Introduce, nice and welcome. Here's everyone going here, all this, and it's like, I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm just
Also, Brad,
yeah.
were you able to see the Porsche Super Cup? Because I remember we had a conversation about this about a month back or two about that you've never seen the Porsche Super Cup, even though you've been at some of the races
Yes,
that
what do
have
you make of it?
had it. So were you able to see it last week?
Brad says as well, why don't we all go to B&Q and get some high-vis jackets and sneak in? Who did that? Oh, Ali Law. Probably would work. I don't
Oh
need...
God, not him. Not him.
I know.
He's not popular in the
He's
the
not.
Jack brain.
It's not for me either.
He's not popular, is he?
If I'm not very well, I will watch
Idiot.
what
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. If I'm not well, I watch something called CRAP YouTube. Spelling it out, because I say, yeah. So if I'm not well, I just stick that on the telly and watch that. And it's like, yeah, so he's always one I watch.
Basically just watch stuff you don't like.
Yeah, because I'm not well, so you may as well watch something that's different to what you usually watch. Because
I do that sometimes.
well, the thing is, if I watch something I like, I know I'll stay up and watch it. So if I watch something I don't like, I'll probably fall asleep and get better quicker. I think we're going to have a word with Gabriel Portoletto at the moment. With someone from Invictus.
We missed this opportunity to win in Imola when I didn't have the best start. Still managed to get 2 positions after I lost 4 at the start. So finishing P2 was good. But finally being able to win in a track that is very special for me, Red Bull Ring, has been always one of my favorites in the terms of, let's say, a redemption track for me. Every time I arrive in Red Bull Ring, good things happen, and it's a good weekend. So yeah.
Joe, one of these days I'm going to turn up at a racetrack for I don't know, I'll turn up at an F1 race and I won't tell anyone, and everyone will tune in for the first practice and I'll just be there trackside commentating. That'd be hilarious. Don't tell anybody and just turn up at a race trackside. Maybe not even tell you guys. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Don't tell you guys and all of a sudden,
No.
bang! Hello.
No.
Yeah, leave Megan here. Megan introduces the session. You all go, where's Josh? Where's Josh? Where's Josh? And Megan goes, right, and now I'll go over to Josh, who's trackside. And you'll go like, what? And I go, hello.
Well, well, it wouldn't work if there's F2 and F3 that weekend.
Well,
That'll all be spoiled.
yeah, but maybe not, because if I take a green screen with me and sit at the side of a commentary box, then you'll all think I'm there. And then Megan, then it's a big surprise. Surprise! It'll be quite good.
Right. Brad's saying, yes, some guy called Harry King came second, but the winner won by 5 seconds worse than F1. And why is Timo Glock still racing? He's a guest driver for last week in the Super Cup.
Not racing this weekend, as far as I remember. Looking at the list, entries. Porsches around here are going to be fun for the British Grand Prix.
Last year they were a big disappointment though.
They were.
We had a big crash lap 1, and then after that we had 0 action. But I think there was just 1 battle for like 10.
Yeah, that opening lap crash took out 3 of the championship contenders. It spoiled everything.
Yeah, it was.
But
It caused a dramatic moment from the start, but after that it spoiled us of a great race.
Larry Tenvold, though, leads that championship. 3 victories from the opening 3 races, of course, in Imola, Monaco, and Austria as well.
Brad asking, how can I be a guest driver?
I think you need, what pass is it? Or it's like you need to be a bronze driver, don't you? At least, to get in.
Something.
As a rookie on the bronze level. So I believe that's FIA grade license 2 that you need minimum. Hauger and Colapinto watching on as well. The 2 MPs. Victor Martins is here, coming through into Cop's corner. And Rhea stepping out ever so slightly as well. Paul Aron's fastest from Zach O'Sullivan, Jack Crawford, Roman Stanek, Zane Maloney as well, while most of the riders in the pit lane. Oh, and confirmation that Aleix Espargaro has withdrawn from the German Grand Prix as he continues to recover from his crash in Aston. So he did try, but he's got a broken hand, so Aleix Espargaro is out of the MotoGP weekend. I'll just go and nip and tell Megan that now, and while the car's on the circuit, we'll catch up with your F2 commentators on the World Feed this weekend as well, Chris McCarthy and Alex Brundle.
Full complement of driver skills in outlaps, management of 2 compounds of tyre, everything that these drivers are going to have to do through the next level of the series. Kushmaini makes his way back out onto the racetrack in a decent run of form. Difficult time in the Red Bull Ring feature race, but a solid set of point scoring finishes coming off the back of his podium in the sprint race in Barcelona. And see what he's got this weekend. Ollie Behrman in his first run this weekend without a time set, but it's great to have him moving to the next stage of motorsport in the shape of a Haas Formula 1 Secret.
Down on track for the first time, the driver who has been signed to race for the Haas Formula 1 team next year. And we caught up with Ollie Behrman about just that after the news was announced yesterday.
I'm really proud and happy that it's finally official. Of course, it's been a long time in the making, not only to get it announced, but in my life. You know, it's been 12, 13 years of really hard work, and it feels like it's paid off to have this start in Formula 1. The home weekend is always a very special one, and to announce that I'll be racing full-time in Formula 1 from next year, it makes it even better. I'm really, really excited to get started in F1, and it was an emotional moment for my whole family.
Ollie Behrman first started his karting journey, Alex, at Buckmore Park in Kent on the small oval layout in 2011. Did his first race at Lydd Kart Circuit, Bambinos, and then at Rye House Kart Raceway he was doing time trials, evening time trials there. Lewis Hamilton once did practice there with his father. That's where it all began for him in 2011. And I remember watching Ollie having an absolutely dominant karting season in 2019, where he swept the floor in the IAME category. He beat a combined grid of over 240 drivers to win everything. The Euro Series, Winter Cup, International Final. And after that, he was off to single-seaters, and the rest is history, as they say. He has been a superb driver to watch, and Ollie Behrman, as he says, 13 years in the making this has been.
Bring owner-driver kart racing back to Buckmore Park is what we're learning. Is what we're learning from Ollie Behrman. What a great circuit that is. Down in the south of London, no longer, last time I checked, no longer operating. Owner-driver racing, but saw so much brilliant stuff from various drivers around there. So much great grassroots motorsport going on in the UK, and that's it's the part of the rich tapestry of our motorsport tradition here. Ollie Behrman had a rich tapestry of steering inputs through the exit of Beckett's there, and had to catch it across the grass circuit, starting to dry out. Drivers who've just gone out on a newer set of wets, putting quicker laps in. Antonelli to the top of the field in his Prema. But we saw, just before these little spate of drivers went out on the racetrack, the trajectory of the wet as it moved away. Drivers really starting to struggle with it, and they weren't improving despite the track drying. Behrman bucks that trend, having come out on his new wets to go faster, just slightly quicker than his teammate.
Ollie Behrman to the top of the standings there. He's going to be inspired, isn't he? He wants to become the first British winner here since Callum Ilott in 2020. Can he give the home fans and truly cap off a celebratory weekend for him? Just a bit of a moment there through Chapel as he now comes down into Vale and Club, just taking the curb there. Ollie Behrman.
Plenty of steering input for Behrman. He sits high in the car, likes to see everything going on with the front axle of the car almost.
I agree, by the way, with what Brad is saying as well, that F1 was the best race of the weekend in Austria as well. I think it was too. And I tell you what my personal best was coming through. I really did enjoy the Grand Prix in Austria, because for once it was proper wheel-to-wheel with no external factors. Max didn't have any problems. Landed afterwards, it was proper speed outright, and it just makes it exciting now for the rest of the year. It's not too late, by the way, for Max to be caught in the World Championship.
Oh no. definitely not. No, I don't think any driver has ever recovered a gap this big, but theoretically he can definitely still be caught. We're still out just before midway through the season, and I think everyone's starting to catch up here.
I think this
I think people are starting to catch.
Yeah. I've said for many a year that 2024 will be like a beta year. Red Bull will start strong, end weak. And then 2025, the last year of the regulations, I think everyone's kind of already guessed we're in for another really close one. As Behrman comes back out on the track, he's done a 159, 479 with his teammate Antonelli 19 thousandths behind him now, just coming to the pit lane. I really do think that we're going to be in for a close one in 2025 as well. All the teams would have caught up. We have got 15 minutes left of this session, but not every car is out on the circuit. And it's a big political day here in the United Kingdom with the general election. So there's all sort of speeches going on. In a moment, former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, I can't wait, I can't believe I'm saying that, I'm so happy right now, will give his last speech in Downing Street. And then he will go forward as well to the King and resign. And then Keir Starmer will take over as well. So while that happens, we want to watch that. So we're going to step away and leave you with the world feed for a few moments' time, so we can hear Rishi Sunak grovel.
Drivers, we're yet to see a time from here. DRS open, down one of the two DRS zones we have here. Pepe Marti now coming down the hill and towards the downhill braking zone. We have tricky downhill braking zone at Vale and into Club. Very easy to run wide there, isn't it, Alex? We've seen it plenty of times, overtaking opportunity, but with that downhill braking zone, we just see a progression of speed. In the wet, it looks particularly tricky through that section of course.
Oh, it really is, because not only do you have the rubber that builds on the racing line, rubber, of course, making the circuit slippier rather than the opposite. That you have in dry conditions. In the wet, it makes it worse, so you've got to stay off it. But you also have all of the overtaking moves that are done down the inside of Vale, and as such, you get rubber all over the racetrack there. It's really difficult to find a line, which is nice in wet conditions. Then you have to cross that rubber line twice in the mid-corner of Vale and Club, which makes your life very difficult when you're trying to apply traction through the exit. Richard Shaw sits 9th in the session so far in his driver, who was so close to glory earlier on in the year. Back in Monaco, really felt for him that weekend. He is sitting down there in the car, 19th in the championship. But another one of the drivers that will be in FP1 a little later on, Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, he is carrying a lot of confidence at the moment. 2 podiums in as many rounds, and we caught up with him about that yesterday.
Scoring good points in the last few races, already in Barcelona, now in Austria, and then I think it's just suiting us a bit more the European races, and I'm having quite a lot of confidence in the car, in the team. They have been doing a good job and the pace is looking good, so let's continue like this.
Good to hear from Franco Colapinto. Just talking about getting to the European rounds for the drivers graduating from Formula 3. Some of the rounds, or some of the tracks, maybe they didn't know as well once they get to these European circuits, which they're so familiar with from other categories as well. They just seem to be showing slightly more confidence. New fastest lap. Pepe Marti, 158.693, 7/10 quicker at the top.
Track continuing to dry. Isaac Hadjar sitting there in the pit lane on what's going to be an important day for the Frenchman. Will take to the circuit in a Formula 1 car in FP1, and with everything going on in the world of Red Bull, the team, of course, to which he is associated as a young driver, it needs to go well for him. Both on track as a Formula 2 driver and also in FP1, second in the championship. 11 points at the moment behind Paul Aaron at the front of the field, coming up another podium at the Red Bull Ring after a decent run of form in terms of the positions that he's been able to score since sort of the feature race at Imola, which he was able to win. So Isaac Hadjar, all to play for here. He never knows what's going to happen around at the very top level at Red Bull, and then, of course, how that'll filter down into the V-carb and then beyond. So the shuffle at Red Bull, always a possibility, especially with that outfit. He just has to give the performances he can at this level and try to move up. Revelation of the series for me so far this year in terms of the mid-season form he's been able to find. Results not often demonstrating pace. Joshua Dirksen is doing a great job behind the wheel of that AIX, considering the form he took into the year and our expectations of him.
He really is. Joshua Dirksen raced against Kimi Antonelli last year in Freca. They were the only two drivers to graduate from that series. We've seen him racing in the likes of Italian F4, ADAC F4 from sort of 2019 onwards, really. He was a UAE F4 vice champion back in 2019. But Joshua Dirksen coming in to this series with AIX racing. Some may have expected that he would make up the numbers, really, but he has done quite the opposite, hasn't he? Flying the flag for Paraguay as well. We've never had a driver from that country participating. Just him being here was big news. The president visiting him in post-season, testing him, and then he called him after he got on the podium at Imola, and he's been checking in with him regularly ever since. And well done to him. He led us away from the feature race. Right, slicks on the car. Franco Colapinto having a big moment there through Copse.
It just looks like a great opportunity to have a crash, doesn't it, Slicks, at the moment. I'll see if Franco Colapinto continues on this set. I'm dubious as to whether he will persevere, because that looks very tricky indeed for Colapinto. It's extra treacherous through the exit of Beckett always, and I would not be surprised to see that one return to base after this lap, unless he's feeling brave. Going to try and build a little bit of tyre temperature. Tyre temperature is the key. If you could sort of evaporate on sight all of the water which you have to cross across with the slick tyre, then it works out for you. If you can't do that, then it's very, very difficult indeed. Well,
he's going to go.
The key to success is perseverance, they say. And Colapinto's going to persevere.
You never, I tell you what, you never know. You may just find yourself in this situation on race day for maybe one lap before you make it back to pit lane. It's not bad practice. It's not bad practice.
If he fancies an endurance racing future, it's half the time. So, so realistically, Colapinto got a tippy toe. So what you're doing here as a driver, you're looking for these seams. Look, you can see that little seam of dry tarmac, and you try and use those to load the tyre if you possibly can. Try and load the tyre as much as possible, and then slip it across the road. When you get a bit of wheel spin, you often let the wheels spin just to try to generate the temperature. As soon as you get temperature, it's impressive how quickly you're off in terms of the speed that you can take around the racetrack. While you haven't, it's impressive how little grip you have, but while you're wheel spinning in a straight line, still the slick is going to be the wrong tyre to be on.
Interesting now, we've got plenty coming out on slicks. It looks like it's just Dirksen on the wets. All the rest are coming out on slicks. We're yet to see Isaac Hadjar. He has remained in pit lane as we jump on board with Kimi Antonelli. We're going to see similar things from him now. It's
a worthwhile test for the teams, because what they're trying to ascertain here is what the crossover is. If you do, for example, have a wet feature race, then, or even indeed a wet sprint race, and if you have to cross over to the slick tyre, race control will wave play on, and the teams will have to sort it out. So they're trying to figure out where the slick tyre crossover is. And so if you go slightly early, then you can allow the driver to drive into the crossover, as long as you trust them, and you can then get a feel for when, in terms of lap time, the driver has grip on a slick car.
Looked a bit more comfortable that time. Let's have a look at Roman Stanek then.
Yeah, big lock-up down to Bell. He's still on the wets, actually, trying to push on. And we'll have to climb all over that gravel trap on the outside of Bell and continue through Club.
So that was trying to push for a new personal best. Oh, and a bit of airball there for Roman Stanek briefly, as he is carrying a lot of speed coming through. But as Alex mentioned, we're looking for that crossover period. It is worthwhile practice, and the track is constantly drying out. The more of them out there, the quicker it's drying up, and we have plenty of them now coming out on out laps. A few still remaining in pit lane. Dirksen has come into the pit lane. There's Ollie Behrman. He is out there as well, as Victor Martins behind in the queue, and they're definitely carrying a bit more pace. Oh, Ollie Behrman goes wide briefly over the grass.
Ollie, no! Well, I stopped Megan's MotoGP stream, but Rishi still hasn't come out, so we may as well finish the session. Oh, and Behrman battling with Victor Martins now. Dry tyres for the majority there, Omi, and they're all just struggling for grip out there.
Yeah, they are all indeed. So Ollie Behrman going off the road and then battling with Victor Martins. Two drivers predicted to fight for this title, aren't fighting for it though. But this was the moment off the road for Ollie Behrman, and then getting back on
someone
the power,
else
continuing on. And Victor Martins.
She's heading out now.
And Rishi Sunak's coming.
Right, over you go.
Get their heads around where the crossover point is for this slick car.
Great stuff between Martins in the #1 ART Alpine Academy backed car and the Ferrari Academy member, newly signed Haas F1 team driver Ollie Behrman for next season as they head to Magus and Beckis. It's a very tricky section to do in these conditions. Slicks on a drying track, not easy at all, but it will just feel slightly more comfortable each lap. And if presented with this situation now come the races, then you've had that little bit of practice in the conditions, and that will go certainly a long way. Kimi Antonelli, he's in the red and white Prema next along, just trying to get a feel for this circuit in this Formula 2 car. Oh, 3 wide briefly as Ollie Behrman dives into pit lane. Feels he's done enough for this session now.
Well, you've had several drivers on various adventures. Both Antonelli and Ollie Behrman have been back into the pit lane. Hello. What's going to go on for Kimi Antonelli then? Heading down towards Copse. Going to try and just coax it towards the apex. Car having none of it on the slick tyre. But of course, if you started the race like this, you'd have to run the slick. You'd be finished on the wet after 5 laps of cars pounding round. Taylor Barnard still able to go round. I haven't recoiled away from a screen like that in a little while. Taylor Barnard through the exit of Copse and catches the biggest puddle out there, and did well to hold on to that.
That was a close one, wasn't it? Taylor Barnard is giving it absolutely everything out there. It may be practice, but he's done a purple sector 1, a personal best sector 2, and Taylor Barnard wants to beat his teammate and go fastest in this practice session. He's got less than 2 minutes to do it. Let's see if he can go fastest as he comes down towards Vale Club now, Alex.
Now, wet tyre, still the best tyre to be on out there. This is going to be impressive on board. Steering velocity maximum. Watch this one as he gets out onto the runoff area. He's going to have to catch. Look at that! He has to catch it so fast. He'll have looked down and gone, how did I catch that? When he got through the exit of the corner, just complete instinct for Taylor Barnard. Brilliant stuff.
Keep it pinned. And that's exactly what he did. There you go. Would have looked impressive from the side of the racetrack too.
If anybody was there not hiding behind the tyre barrier to see it, Marshall's. It's when you look up after having a moment like that, and the marshal on the outside of Copse puts his yellow flag back down. You know, you've got another driver off the road. O'Sullivan, is it?
Yes, Zach O'Sullivan off down at Stowe, rejoins. Well, they're certainly pushing now, and he's going to dump a load of gravel onto the road for the rest of his competitors coming through. Zach O'Sullivan, big home race for him. He's been on the podium here in Formula 3. He got his first pole position and podium here in Formula 3 2 years ago. Let's find out what happened to him here, Alex.
Just Not enough grip. A lot of gravel there. Used to be a lot more tarmac runoff there on the outside of Stowe. Is no longer. Has to clamber all over the gravel. He's gone a long way off. Just a pure rear lockup without a lot of grip. Difficult braking zone to judge. There's not a lot of space. There's not a lot of furniture down there. And it is subtly curved, the braking zone down towards Stowe. Richard Verschoor, next taker for a purple middle sector. And got another car off in Stowe.
Yeah, well, you can clearly see through the gravel how many we've had off. One's gone off, another off. That's one of the Red Bull Juniors, so we've got a Campos off down there. Richard Verschoor, well, Taylor Barnard went third. What can Richard Verschoor do in the Trident? He could do with a boost of confidence this weekend. Richard Verschoor coming round P2. Well, that'll do for Richard Verschoor in this practice session as he takes the checkered flag. Gabriel Bortoletto has already taken it in 14th place. And Richard Verschoor takes a look at the screen to see where he ended up. And it's P2 for him.
So what have we learned? We've learned the wet runs longer than you think. Still the best tyre at the end of that session. Now we're doing 1:58. We've found that it's perilous at this crossover stage. Drivers were pretty under control, weren't they, in full wet conditions?
Yeah.
As soon as we went from wet to dry, the mistakes started to come in. The slick tyre, really difficult to get up to temperature. So teams will be crunching all of that data along with the data that they've built from the laps done on the wet tyre to give them a feel, if it is wet, for qualifying in the races. And then drivers will be getting a feel. This is Isaac Hadjar, I think, going off the road as well. No, Marty looks like he's going wide in the other Red Bull liveried machine, and will make his way back onto the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah. Pepe Marti.
Yeah, that's what the yellow flag was for as well, coming out the other circuit. Oh, and Colapinto spun.
Oh.
And he stalled the car, and that's brought out a yellow flag. There's some debris on the track at the entry, and he's beached it in the gravel trap at Vale. Rears have gone in, so he's looped it round the dry tyres, reversed it back, and just beached in the gravel. Well, this is the first Grand Prix under a Labour government since 2009.
Yes, it would be.
Right. What did Colapinto do then? As well, heading down to the Wales chicane.
Oh, that snapped big time.
Ooh.
It's not ready for dries, is it? And of course, there's a dip here, which is what he's fallen into.
Yeah. We've seen many drivers, while that switch is going on, go off the road as well.
They're all listening.
And this time and then this time it's fully caught out Colapinto, and it means that session's over, but it's right at the end of it, so will not matter at all for him.
By the way, if you're at Silverstone and want to watch the England game, the big screens will be showing it tomorrow. So after the after the qualifying session, the big screens will be showing the British Grand Prix, so you can stay in your grandstand seats and watch the England game as well. As soon as the session's over, I'm racing out this commentary box and going to a garden party to watch it. So I hope JT's okay covering the practicing. Well, actually, IndyCar this weekend, practice and qualifying commentary will come from IndyCar Radio. We'll only be covering the race ourselves as well, because we're on a limited budget this weekend due to losing the channels, and we're all trying to save our voices a little bit much as well. Next week, but it is also the first weekend ever in IndyCar with the hybrid engines. Mid-season rule change there as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see how it's going to go as well. Practice starts taking part on the grid now as well. The session's come to a conclude. The last one to do so is Taylor Barnard on the wet tyres, just getting some useful data ahead of potentially a wet start on Saturday and Sunday, depending on how the British weather forecasts as well. I love how I say it's cloudy and wet at Silverstone. Here, where I am, in my commentary box in the UK, bright blue sunshine outside. So yeah, I don't know what all that's about. Here's Joshua Durskin into Brooklands. We are going to snap. No, he's just replayed him fastest. Nice to see Joshua on top. Yes.
Yes, Durskin really starting to come alive in this series. Of course, was leading the race at Austria for the opening stages after Hauger stalled, then lost it to Bortoletto. But Durskin, surely a victory at some point is going to come, whether it's a sprint or a feature at some point, surely. it will go his way. He's really been performing well this season. So is Colapinto, but that will be an unfortunate moment right at the end of the session. There was a lot of mistakes from all of the drivers on the slicks. Bit too early, possibly, to go on those slick compound of tyres.
Thoughts on the session then, Jack?
And not much on that, just some fairly clean racing until the end of it, where Colapinto spun. He'll be in F1 practice, you got to remember, later today, along with Ollie Behrman, Isaac Hadjar, and Jack Doohan, all also taking part in that session. So we're going to have some interesting new faces out on track coming up in about an hour's time.
He's going to get in trouble with that one, Dennis Alger, because he's done his practice start at the back of the grid and he's gone forward through the other two. Because they've stalled on the grid. That's why he's gone through. We've got a staller for Zach O'Sullivan on the start grid. So again, the clutches are not working. We saw this in Austria with 3 cars stuck at the line. So we've got red flags out as well. Red flags out. They've stopped the session. And one of the Premas has stopped as well. I can't tell if that is going to be Behrman or
Antonelli.
I think it must be Antonelli. It's Antonelli. Yeah, you're right. It's Antonelli. Red flag is out, by the way, so session is stopped post result. So the red flags come out. It is Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli. So the 2 have stalled on the line. Well, that's 3 cars out there, and that's why the red flag's out. Here's your results then. Practice. It's Joshua Durskin topping a session for the first time in Formula 2. Jose Maria Marti is second. Taylor Barnard goes in third. Fourth for Ollie Behrman. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is in fifth. Paul Aron 6th, Zach O'Sullivan in 7th, Jack Crawford 8th, Remo Sainz 9th, and Zane Maloney in 10th. Dropping down, we see Richard Forshaw 11th, Emil Cordeal is 12th, Dennis Hager 13th, Gabriel Bolsas 14th, Juan Manuel Correa 15th, Chris Miney 16th, Rito Mayata 17th, Victor Martins 18th, Rafael Villagomez 19th, Franco Colapinto 20th, Enzo Fittipaldi 21st, and Isaac Hadjar 22nd as well. Omi, your closing thoughts on the session?
We have an interesting weekend of Formula 2 life, but the stalling does continue as well. But yeah, we should be in for an interesting weekend. Excited to be leading a bit of Formula 2 this week as well. So it should be all exciting for the sprint race and the feature race tomorrow. But first of all, we've got to set the grid for it, and we'll do it later on today.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jack. Thank you to everyone at home as well. We'll be back shortly then for the Formula 1 first practice session for the British Grand Prix.